Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Berlin, Germany. My name is Micaela Lalata, but you can call me Ati Mika, and I will be your tour guide for today. First, here are some few reminders before we start our journey. First, please look for my red flag whenever we walk. It will help you spot me in the crowd. Second, if you hear my whistle, it means we're moving on or regrouping, so please gather quickly. Third, our bus number is 555 and our coach captain is Mr. Hans, who will be waiting for us at the parking area later. Please remember this in case you get separated. Alright, now that we're ready, let's dive into one of the most powerful landmarks of the 20th century, the Berlin Wall. Close your eyes in a moment and imagine this. It's the early morning of August 13, 1961. Berliners wake up to find soldiers and construction workers putting up barbed wires and concrete barriers across the city. Families suddenly separated. Neighbors couldn't cross the street. Overnight, Berlin was cut into east and west. This wasn't just a wall of concrete. It was a wall that divided lives, dreams, and an entire nation. Can anyone guess how long the Berlin Wall stretched? Yes, it was about 155 kilometers long, wrapping all around West Berlin. Guard towers, floodlights, and soldiers made sure no one could cross. It wasn't just one wall, it was actually two, with a death strip in between. That empty space was patrolled day and night. Attempting to cross was incredibly dangerous. Now, why was the wall built? The East German government wanted to stop its citizens from leaving. Between 1949 and 1961, about 3.5 million people had fled to West Germany for better opportunities. That was a huge loss for the East, and so they built this barrier. But instead of being local barrier, it became the ultimate symbol of Cold War, the clash between communism and democracy. One of the most famous moments in history happened here when US President John F. Kennedy visited in 1963. He gave a speech and said, Ich bin ein Berliner. It means I am a Berliner, to show solidarity with the people living in a divided city. Years later, in 1987, President Ronald Reagan stood right in front of the Brandenburg Gate and declared, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. It was a bold challenge to the Soviet Union. And then finally, history changed. On November 9, 1989, after weeks of peaceful protest, government confusion, and pressure from the people, East Berlin suddenly announced that crossing points were open. Crowds rushed to the checkpoints, guards stepped aside, and people from east and west embraced each other. Can you imagine the joy? People climbing on the top of wall, singing, dancing, and chipping away at the concrete with hammers. Some even keep pieces of the wall as souvenirs. That night marked the end of painful chapter and the beginning of German reunification, which officially happened in 1990. This stretch of the wall is now an open-air art gallery, nearly 1.3 kilometers long, covered with over 100 murals painted by artists from all over the world. Some murals are colorful and hopeful, while others are haunting reminders of oppression. Each one tells a story. The Berlin Wall reminds us that divisions, no matter how strong, is never permanent. It teaches us about the value of freedom, unity, and resilience. Think about it. This city that was once divided is now one of the most vibrant and united capitals of Europe. People from all over the world came here to learn from its history. The wall stood for 28 years, but the courage of the people was stronger. And today, as you stand here, you're standing on the very ground where history changed forever. Before we leave, I want you to take one last look at what remains of the Berlin Wall. For nearly 30 years, this wall stood as a symbol of division, fear, and hopelessness. But today, it stands as a symbol of courage, unity, and freedom. The Berlin Wall teaches us something important. No wall is permanent. Whether it's a wall of concrete, a wall of injustice, or even the invisible walls we sometimes build in our own lives, fear, doubt, or limitation, history shows us that these walls can fall. If the Berlin Wall could fall, then so can the challenges you face. Thank you for joining me on this journey through history. Please follow my red flag as we back to bus number 555, where our coach captain, Mr. Hans, is waiting. Don't forget your belongings, and most of all, don't forget the story of the Berlin Wall, because it is not just Germany's story, it is a lesson for all of us.